The U.S. Department of War releasing new video of strikes targeting sites in northwestern Nigeria, launched from a Navy ship in the Gulf of Guinea, against what Donald Trump called ISIS terrorist scum. In a social media post, Trump said the strikes were deadly, adding, "I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, there was."
Terrorists are being targeted.
In an interview with CNN, Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs said the strikes were a collaborative effort between the U.S. government and the West African nation. But he disputed the notion that it was to protect Christians alone.
This is not about religion. It is about Nigerians, innocent civilians, and the wider region as a whole.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria.
For months, Trump, along with some online influencers and Republican politicians, have claimed Christians were being slaughtered en masse in Nigeria. And in November, the U.S. military was ordered to prepare to intervene.
Do you envisage U.S. boots on the ground?
Could be. I mean, a lot of things I envisage, a lot of things. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
While the violence in Nigeria is not disputed, Trump's characterization is. The country has for years been dealing with a security crisis from multiple armed groups that have killed thousands of both Christians and Muslims. The country is also facing brutal criminal gangs and kidnappings for ransom. On Christmas Eve, 5 people were killed in a suspected suicide bombing at a mosque in northeastern Nigeria.
The terrorist groups have been targeting all Nigerians, and U.S. President's Christian genocide or persecution narrative is unfortunately a fundamental misrepresentation of what is happening on the ground.
In the town of Jabo, local residents gathered to inspect an area of scorched grass at the site of one of the strikes. Neither country has said what specifically was hit. In a statement online, the U.S. Defense Secretary warned there would be more to come.
U.S. President Donald Trump's daughter, Tiffany Trump, and her Nigerian Lebanese fiancé, Boulos, have visited Pastor Paul Adefarasin and his wife, Ivanka, in Lagos. The lovebirds visited Adefarasin and his wife at their house on the Rock Church. Adefarasin posted photos of their meeting on Instagram on Monday, April 11, writing, quotes, "Fellowship at the Rock Cathedral with Tiffany and Michael." Adefarasin and his wife were earlier hosted by Michael's parents, Massad and Boulos. The clergyman posted pictures of the visit on Instagram over the weekend with the words, quotes, "One of the main highlights of my past weeks was meeting Tiffany Trump and Michael Boulos, who are engaged and thriving in their journey."
That they say they fly at night and with broom. Those ones are not your problems. The witches and wizards, they tell you travel at night or come in form of bat or owl. Those ones are not your problem. In Luke chapter 9, the Bible says Jesus gave them authority and power over all the devils. That means the okapatapata of all the devils and all his words, followers. The witches and wizards in Nigeria, they are small devils. God has given you authority and power over the big one. How much? That one. And in Mark chapter 16, say nothing shall hurt you. You shall not be hurt. The witches and wizards I'm talking about, they are in the presidency, in the National Assembly, in the Senate, in government houses. They are civil servants. They are politicians. They are Hausas, Igbos, Yorubas. They are Catholics, Pentecostals, Protestants, Christians, Muslims. Those are the witches and wizards that kill more people in Nigeria. In fact, the other witches, I don't even know whether they have killed anybody. But these particular witches or wizards I'm talking about, they are responsible for thousands of deaths. If you are giving money to do road, and you don't do the road, and somebody has accident because of bad road and die, what do you think you are? You are a witch. You have taken blood. You are giving money to equip hospitals. You refuse to build a hospital or even equip. And the medication or medical attention that would have saved somebody is not, and the person dies. What do you think you are? It's a witch. We have them all over the place. That in Nigeria, pensioners will be queuing to take their pension of 50,000. And they wait and wait until some will die because somebody doesn't want to push their file, or somebody has swallowed the money meant for their pension. And you tell me you are a human being? No, you are a witch. Witch is sweet. You are a winch. And a huge one, a winch. Those are the ones you should be afraid of. Forget about these ones that some men of God tell you that those are not the ones. The witches and wizards that have key destinies in Nigeria, they are presidents, governors, senators, members of House of Rep, civil servants, and contractors. Those are the ones that have key. All these deliverance you are running about for people to release your destiny. Those who are holding your destiny, they are in Aso. I am very serious about it. It's not the small witches, they say they are flying up and down. Those ones, they are looking for blood. If they don't see your blood, they will go and chop fruit and rest. You survive this kind of people in Nigeria, you should be happy. There's another set of witches or wizards, though, fake pastors and men of God. Those ones who have given people wrong pseudo-religious theories. They have destroyed marriages, bankrupted businesses, and made people to start thinking backward. They even block you from seeing where your real problem is coming. Men of God are coming to a family, and brother will become afraid of his own brother. Relatives will no longer eat their food. Before you even shake a relative, you remember what they told you, that they are transferring power. If you have survived all these forces, just know that Psalm 91 is working in your life. He said 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right. You, it will never approach, because his faithfulness is buckler and shield. He said your eyes have only to look to see how the wicked are repaid. He has given his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. It can also be Psalm 125. Those who put their trust in the Lord, they are like Mount Zion that cannot be shaken, that stands firm forever. And as the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people. Help me tell somebody, God has surrounded you. God has surrounded you. That is the reason you are alive today. And I pray that he'll continue to surround you all the days of your life. In Nigeria, our average life expectancy is very low. What is keeping us alive aren't things you see physically, it's by the grace of God. That's why you should wake up and be thankful. In Nigeria especially, be thankful. So thank God for protection.
France has for a long time masqueraded under the guise of fighting against terrorism in Africa, but are they truly fighting against terrorism? The movement against slavery and terrorism, Massad, accused French President Emmanuel Macron of sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria and other African countries. This was revealed at the conclusion of a one-day trip to the French embassy in Abuja, Nigeria. Princess Ajibula, the organizer, told the reporters in front of the French consulate that the aim was to remind Macron that Nigeria is a sovereign nation and that any attempt to undermine its territorial integrity will be rejected. According to Ajibula, the group has enough proof to back up its assertion that the European nation is truly behind the recent spike in terrorism in the country. As a result, the movement against slavery and terrorism cautioned the French authorities to refrain from further mischief that would undermine the Nigerian army's extraordinary successes. Recall that between 2015 and 2019, the Boko Haram terrorist group, which has plagued the northern part of Nigeria since 2002 and has killed thousands of people, was subjected to heavy bombardments from Nigerian troops, which resulted in the capture of its operational headquarters in Sambisa Forest as well as the takeover of the 16 local government areas it once controlled. This prompted the terrorist group to retreat in large numbers to the outskirts of the Lake Chad Basin region, from which they launched attacks against soft target towns in the area. However, according to Massad, some people, referring to France, were dissatisfied with the successes made by the Nigerian military in the fight against the Boko Haram offensive, and so they began supplying logistical support under humanitarian cover to the Boko Haram militants. Another report that backed this accusation stated that France was secretly carrying out espionage activities that aided the insurgency while ostensibly offering humanitarian relief to victims of terrorist strikes. According to the story, the Nigerian military raised concerns about foreign interests selling weapons and ammunition to the Boko Haram group, but no one listened. Nonetheless, the article went on to say that some evidence has emerged indicating that Boko Haram fighters are acquiring guns and ammunition, even combat tanks, from France via the Francophone channels. Massad, however, is not the only group in Nigeria that believes France is one of those funding the Boko Haram terrorists. The Save Humanity Advocacy Center, SHAC, also urged France to end its unholy alliance with members of the dangerous Islamic sect Boko Haram. The group made the statement in response to a recent New York Times disclosure claiming the insurgents purchased advanced weapons from France. Comrade Ibrahim Abubakar, Executive Secretary of SHAC, cautioned France and any other country that may be acting as a proxy to prop up Boko Haram by acting as a conduit to send weaponry and military equipment to the terrorists to desist. According to the SHAC statement, the reported hardware acquired by the Boko Haram group was capable of reconnaissance, intelligence gathering, and spying missions. While France has reportedly denied any claims of supporting the Boko Haram group and that they stand against terrorism in any form, a very big question is, if they truly are fighting terrorism in Africa, why is it that there is still a great deal of terrorist activity at the fringes of the Lake Chad Basin despite the presence of a strong detachment of French troops stationed in Chad? Why have they not been able to decimate the terrorist attacks even with their sophisticated military gadgets? It's no wonder, therefore, that the recent coup across West Africa has resulted in the removal of French troops from those countries because the military juntas feel that there is no need for them to be in the country when their presence has done nothing to stop the terrorism crisis they are supposed to help fight.
Georg Hegel was a German philosopher who came up with a basic system for achieving the goals of the Illuminati called the Hegelian dialectic. This system is based on 3 steps. In step 1, a rogue government will create the problem that harms or even kills its own citizens. This deception is known as a false flag attack. In step 2, a rogue government will control the reaction to the problem which it created by typically blaming it on an enemy or some aspect of its own society over which it seeks more control. This is why the term false flag attack is so named. In step 3, a rogue government will offer the solution to the problem which it created. This solution is typically a war or a system of regulations. The solution would usually not be accepted by the public had the rogue government not created the crisis and controlled the reaction to it in the first place. A government which seeks increasing control can keep pushing society to accept its agenda by following a series of problems, reactions, and solutions which it planned all along. The Hegelian dialectic is not how evil it is, but rather how often governments choose to follow it. There has not been a major war in the 20th and 21st centuries that does not follow the Hegelian dialectic.